Are you going past the nuclear reactor, or are you going back the way you came?
At this point, I think we're way too likely to head on run into the already looking for us, so I think we have to risk the other route.
John completely agrees.
Route.
He's not going back to the spiders and the robot man.
It was fucking awful.
Physics is still magic to John, but not that fucking level of magic.
You're pretty confident that this PI is far more competent than he lets on. You get down to the reactor level with nary a squeak. You do, however, see two of those heavily armed guards with ballistics gear and goggles and long rifles flanking the door to the nuclear reactor lab. And you see the cyborg escorting a wounded Betsy
Jesus.
to that door.
I'm gonna tug John's sleeve for us to go back the way we came, because I trust Betsy. Betsy seemed very confident when telling us to not get caught, if at all possible.
Yeah, John will nod very slowly and then turn around.
I guess the way back is clear.
Exactly, RoboCop's down here.
RoboCop is indeed down here. But as you turn to go back up the steps you came, you hear booted footsteps coming down.
Oh, fuck.
Run around a corner and try to hug as tight to a wall as we can.
You've got the stairs up one way, you've got the hallway past the nuclear reactor the other way. There is one door in this hallway.
We don't want to open a door, they'll notice that for sure.
It's a supply closet.
Can I make it a door out? Is there anything we can do to make it a door outside?
You can make it open by itself, perhaps.
It's still gonna make
but the
noise.
latch, they wouldn't notice that you'd opened it because you didn't.
You said the hall opposite the reactor, though? There was nobody coming down, right? Or is that the hall that...
There's the cyborg coming down the nuclear reactor hall, and Boots coming down the stairs. There's the supply closet nearest to you. You could, in theory, try to wait and let the cyborg escort Betsy into the nuclear reactor room, and then hope to slip past them while they're letting them in?
Kinda butt-fucked here.
You've got out of more unlikely situations.
Then, yeah, I say we pull a don't be suspicious past those guards.
Yeah. You just sneak right in behind.
God damn it. Motherfuck.
Your magic's not helping you right now, but you do still have cloaking of 5.
I am very good at this. This is my job.
As you go at just the right time to see the doors open, Ollie, you've been in this room before. You know that there's supposed to be a control panel room with a big old window where you can see into the nuclear reactor, and then the reactor itself beyond that wall. It's heavily shielded for lots of reasons. That room is gone. Beyond that door is an indoor crater. The room seems to have been melted or vaporized or something, because it just leads into a bowl-shaped depression. There are lights strung up on poles around the place, giving it a strange, almost construction site feel. There are a couple of people in lab coats at consoles with wires leading into the center of the room. Those wires rise up like snakes, tied to something that's... Then you see it, like a crack in glass. finally seen from the right angle, there's a crack in the air, stretching from floor to ceiling a good 30 feet. It doesn't look like it's very thick, maybe only 3 or 4 centimeters in width. It's two-dimensional. It's flat, like a piece of thin glass suspended in the air.
Or like a 2D sprite.
It's faintly glowing a yellowish gold. You almost managed it. John, you can't help but let out.
Oh, fuck.
At which point, they all notice you.
Ah, fuck.
A man in what looks to be a military-style uniform steps into view. Ah, our guests.
And then Ollie says it. Oh, fuck.
I'll hold up whatever I have that's official paperwork for the Technocracy and introduce myself as Gray Suit Watcher Betsy Caldwell here on very temporary Discretion 6 assignment.
I'm Captain Michael O'Brien of the Pan-Dimensional Defense Corps. I'm gonna need to know what you're doing here. And I'm gonna need to know real fast. He raises a finger, and both of the armed guards point their weapons at you.
Absolutely. Not a problem. I'm more than happy to finally talk to a person who looks like a human. Thank God. You...
Can I put a hand up to try and get this person to stop talking?
You can. Not sure if Ollie's gonna listen.
That's true.
In the meantime, the crack starts to spark.
Ah.
Captain O'Brien looks back at it, looks over at the lab coats. Is it stable? Or are we getting another incursion? Looks to be stable, sir. Its energies are just peaking. In a good way or a bad way? A good way? Not climbing anymore, sir! Fine. You don't look like a gray suit.
That's intention. I'm escorting an enlightened scientist, I gesture to Ollie, to recover his research materials from studying here at the university. I don't know where those EDEs came from. We met your hit mark up in his dormitory.
A, I know where they came from, and B, not my hit mark. That's the lab coats. Pet project.
We're here to pick up paperwork and leave. If the EDE hadn't intercepted us, you wouldn't have known we were here. I gesture at whoever's got the box. We're retrieving his thesis.
The captain's next words are muffled, almost. There's a strange, slow voice that's muffling everything behind it, but it's almost sounds like fucking peanut speak, the parent speak, and it's coming from the crack. And it seems to be in time with the sparking. You, Oliver, feel like you can almost hear it. You can almost understand what they're saying if you were only a little bit closer.
Mind if I get 5 feet closer to that? I'm gonna say completely ignoring the social decorum of what's going on as per Oliver's usual. Also already moving forward, completely ignoring the very lethal guns pointed at my face, as I am now hyper-focused on a thing, and have already assumed that he's going to say yes, because why wouldn't he? I'm obviously very curious.
Of course the fuck not, he says, as you step forward anyway. The sparking intensifies. You are sure, Ollie, that you can hear words coming from it.
Fuck you, dude. I know what I can hear it.
Kid,
The strangest part is what the words are saying, because you can almost make out the voice. It sounds so familiar, but it's more than one voice. The lab coats are shouting something. He's holding up his hands to stop the other guys from shooting y'all. Seems to be listening intently to the lab coats. Anybody trying to understand him over that wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, definitely.
Something about we need them to get closer.
That can't be right. But is it? I would disbelieve that order. That doesn't seem right, but
Yeah.
do I believe it anyways?
It seems like the kind of thing that you would second guess. That you'd ask for verification that's true. But
It definitely doesn't look like he's gesturing that either.
no, he seems thoroughly distracted by what the lab coats are saying, and more holding up his hands towards all of you, seemingly more towards his guys.
I'll try and grab it, Oliver, to try and stop him, but I'm not feeling the best on my feet, so my grip's probably not great.
Really resisting. I'm kind of in a fugue state, so somebody making physical contact with me would be enough. Like, when you're in shock and somebody yoinks on your arm, it very much helps ground you in the second.
The trouble is, you're fairly sure you just heard somebody say that from the breach.
Oh, yeah.
You managed to break away from Betsy. What do? You hear someone. It almost sounds like Peanut speak, but it's getting clearer by the second. You hear someone say that it's getting clearer by the second, and then describing themselves, describing that through the crack. You hear them say, what do you do?
Ollie will say aloud, I guess I take another step towards it. Then ask if anybody else can hear that. Please tell me somebody else can hear what they're saying.
No one else. It's all Peanut speak to everyone else. With that, it's not just theories. It's true. You know for a fact that you are in a fucking tabletop role-playing game. You can hear them. You can hear the players talking.
Unless it's crazy.
Yeah, but you're a mage, so you tend to default to I'm not crazy. The world's just weird.
It's the world that's crazy.
Unless you go quiet, which then you're both crazy, both you and the world. I've been playing your character as if you're not really awakened yet. You're sleepwalking. You're about to wake up. You're stirring. But this is the moment that you truly awaken. You realize who your avatar truly is, with a sense of blazing clarity. Their friends call them Dizzle. That shard of divinity within, that shard of divinity that allows you to do anything, the warp reality, is your player. For just this moment, your player is touching the world through this crack. Do you ask of your player?
Make me do any really fucked up shit to people. Ollie has played a little bit of tabletop RPGs in his day. Been a D&D nerd since the, mid-80s. And understands I might be able to hear the voice now of my player, but I don't know for a fact that this isn't some 14-year-old kid in charge of me. So I'll just beg him to not make me do anything to humans.
With that, about a dozen more of those Marines flood in, the discretion units that they were talking about. Do you surrender? Do you escape? Or do you annihilate them?
Just surrender, man. I know you can hear me. I'm hearing God. Just surrender. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
You recognize that as another player. You're not sure whose, but definitely another player.
This is fucking with your mind.
Yeah, it is. Just be chill. I promise you'll get out of this fine, man. There's not even over a third of this party being a murder hobo. You'll be fine. We'll get out of this.
Oliver is going to trust the weird voices coming from the crack, and also looking at just the overall weaponry and whatnot, not escaping from these folk.
You could escape through the crack,
Is true.
but you would be leaving these two people behind.
I got a pretty good situation. Like, I'm pretty sure that my MILF will be able to protect me from anything too permanent happening to me.
So, surrender?
Yeah. Yeah. Because Ollie needs to talk to somebody about all of this at the end of the night.
With that, the voices filter back to the strange peanuts. Wah, 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 wah. But quiet. Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Been arrested. I know the girl.
I suppose I will get on the ground. This takes a minute.
They very quickly have handcuffs.
Do not resist.
As they are taking those two away, just I need to check who's who real quick.
I'm me, if that helps.
It does. Sometimes. As Captain O'Brien is ordering his men to take you to a holding cell until he can decide what to do with you, they are leading you three out the door when it opens, and in walks a woman in strange bodysuit. It looks cybernetically enhanced somehow, with weird circuitry patterns up the sleeves, strange bracers with screens on them, and frizzy black hair. Quickly, her dark brown eyes flits to the three of you, flits up to the crack. Captain O'Brien, I think you're going to need them. Why might that be, Sergeant Bulsara? Call it a hunch. Take them to holding, but don't have them processed just yet. I would like to speak to them.
I was like, I get medical attention.
Captain O'Brien says medical attention will be given to you at the holding cell.
Ideal.
As they lead you away, she watches until you're out of view. You are brought to individual gray rooms with gray tables and a gray chair, a mirror on one wall. The place seems out of place for a college, but nobody here is an architect. With that, I think it is a good place to call game.
That was rad.
GG.
GG, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Great game.
That was a
Appreciate
great
it.
game.
Thank you for watching Rose City at Twilight Mage. If you'd like to support us, please like and subscribe and check out my Patreon, or feel free to buy me a coffee if I made you feel something. Hope you have a great day.